Kawhi Leonard's uncle allegedly met multiple teams, held out his hand, and said, "We don't want to do anything." Washington considers raiding the Dodgers front office, and DeShaun Foster faces the press not about his future, but about a quarterback's future. So maybe that's an improvement? Good morning. I'm James, and this is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the Faithful Angelenos Morning Report. It is September 10th, 2025. Welcome back. I'm still in mini scrotum, where I'm thanking everybody for the gift of hiking up my allergies. Do you like being in the know about LA sports? Well, if you do, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop an update. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist, and by all means comment. Now, before we go through the news and notes, a quick look at the scoreboard. Dodgers 7, Colorado 2. The Dodger magic number is now down to 16. Meanwhile, the Sparks defeated Phoenix 88-83, but there's a cost. The Sparks have been eliminated from reaching the WNBA playoffs. This now makes 5 consecutive years that the Sparks, one of the glamour franchises of a league that nobody cares about if it weren't for Caitlin Clark, has missed the playoffs. Meanwhile, today, Colorado's at the Dodgers at 7. What do you say we get to the news? Do you remember the summer of 2019, pre-COVID? It was a much more innocent time then, right? But there were also rumors back then that the Lakers could do the unthinkable and build a super team, matching LeBron James and Anthony Davis with Kawhi Leonard. There was just one problem with that scenario. Kawhi Leonard doesn't want to work. I don't mean just load management either. We now have multiple reports where part of the negotiations during free agency involved him getting paid for nothing. For nothing. Money for nothing and his chicks for free. Good luck with that second part. I would know. I'm married. But one report we already knew about, right? The Athletic reported that the Lakers were asked about giving Leonard a piece of the team, some other things, and no-show endorsement jobs. In other words, you're going to pay me to be a pitchman for Bob's Falafel Hut, and I never have to show up and chow down for the cameras. Toronto Star, meanwhile, is reporting that Leonard's uncle, manager, parasite, Dennis Robinson, went to Raptors management and asked for an ownership stake in the NHL's Toronto Maple Leafs and $10 million extra per year in sponsorship income. And then the scribe followed with this, quote, as one source put it, when told about all the corporate sponsors in Toronto who would be happy to have Leonard as their pitchman, his camp said, quote, we don't want to do anything, unquote. Raptors representatives said any sponsor would want to shoot ads or arrange appearances. Robertson reiterated, Leonard didn't want to do anything for the money, unquote. So now, you look to the Clippers. You look to the Clippers about how they are involved in a controversy, how multiple investigative teams are right up Steve Ballmer's backside. Why? Because Leonard allegedly had an endorsement deal with a company called Aspiration where he didn't have to do anything. Crazy. So, it may be difficult. We got to be fair about this. You take a step back. That's not a smoking gun. That's a newspaper report. They actually have to go into records, find this, that, or the other. And it's going to be very difficult for these investigation teams to unearth a smoking gun that would implicate Leonard, that would implicate Ballmer, that would implicate anybody in the Clippers front office. And yet, you look at what was asked of the Lakers and Toronto. Then you look at this with the Clippers. And you're left asking if circumstantial evidence is enough alone to qualify for punishment for Leonard, the Clippers, Ballmer, all three. Let me know what you think, of course, in the comments thread. Lots of Dodger news. The Nationals have asked permission to interview Dodgers Senior Vice President Josh Burns to become their head of baseball operations. Burns is not the only guy Washington is considering, to be fair. Burns was a GM for Slime Diego in Arizona, as well as an assistant general manager for the Boston Red Sox when they won the title back in 2004. Now, honestly, the Dodgers have had their front office plundered before, right? You think of Farhan Zaidi going to San Francisco. How'd that turn out? Meanwhile, the Dodger train keeps a rolling all night long. Here's something about the Dodgers that genuinely bothers me. I have loved Dodger baseball since I was a kid. I think most of us have. I always will. But the Dodgers, as they are run now, are not the Dodgers of my youth. You know, when Tommy Lasorda would ride his starters deep into the game. I wish the Dodgers would do a little more of that. You don't have to go for complete games every day. But look at how the bullpens performed this year. There's a reason for that. Part of the reason is they ran that bullpen into the ground. I knew the Dodgers changed for the worse, I might add, back in 2016. I was in Miami. I saw the Dodgers play. Rich Hill took a perfect game into the seventh, and Dave Roberts pulled him. I had a seat behind the Dodger dugout because, you know, Marlins tickets are cheaper than a six-pack of Fresca. And I know for a fact Roberts could hear me calling him every non-cuss word in the book. Why would you do that? I was so livid. A perfect game right in my face. Poof, gone. Then after the game came this lie about Hill starting to get a blister. Did he have a blister? No. Did he have a lump? No. Oh, there was just a little bit of redness on his finger. That was a lie. That was a lie. Anyway, Roberts, and by extension the Dodgers front office, it's abundantly clear. They don't give a damn about perfect games. They don't give a damn about no-hitters. They don't give a damn about having their starters stretch out and pitch a few more innings. Because Roberts pulled Tyler Glasnow during Monday's win against Colorado. Now, to be fair, Glasnow had eclipsed 100 pitches to get to that point of 7 innings, no-hit ball with 11 strikeouts. But then they go to Glasnow. He said he didn't want to come out. He said there was nothing wrong. He told the scribes, in retrospect, though, it's good just to get the W. But let's be real. Let's just be honest about this. He's just saying that because he doesn't want to bring up a distraction in a pennant race. I understand that. But I do need to bring this up. Roberts needs to stop jerking with people trying to make history. Why? Oh, I don't know. You have 3,000 starting pitchers to choose from. It's the relievers you don't have. Now, they will get a reliever back. Alex Vesia, arguably the best reliever the Dodgers have, was activated. That's lovely. The bullpen's a little bit unbalanced, though. The Dodgers have 5 lefties in the bullpen. Yahtzee. But to make room also, LA also had to send down Ben Kasparius to AAA. And that sucks. That's just bad. Dude had been a good soldier all year long. Not just relief, spot starts, joining the rotation when like 6 guys had to go on the injured list. That's a hell of a reward. Roki Sasaki, meanwhile, struck out 8 in 4 2/3 innings in a strong rehab performance in the Midwest manure pit. His fastball hit triple digits, averaged 98.5 miles an hour. So the rotation gets deeper. You wonder why they just don't get to stretch him out a little more. The good news for DeShaun Foster is that the first question he faced from scribes Tuesday was not about how UCLA football stinks. It wasn't about if he's keeping tabs on the amazing numbers that Joey Aguilar is putting up with Tennessee. No, that's the good news. The bad news is the scribes wanted to find out about a backup quarterback getting arrested in a felony assault case. Said Foster, quote, I think the statement was sent to everybody. I can't really address that issue due to the legal process and everything. I understand you guys have to ask, but it's just a situation that we're going to let the legal process take its course, unquote. Now, all of this is the only response you could expect Foster to give. But here's the thing, and I do realize Piers Clarkson is from Bellflower, so he's a local. But in my opinion, his college career is over. Totally done. Look, years ago, I got into a lengthy argument with some idiot scribe about how Johnny Manziel was out of control when he got arrested for Texas A&M. And by the way, it was not for felony assault. You see, quarterbacks are leaders of men. You cannot lead men with arrest records. A quarterback? You expect your quarterback to look like a zombie because he spent all night in the film room, not all night in the slam. Nobody's letting you study film in a cell. You don't get to bring your iPad and watch clips. But no. I was told I was so wrong about Johnny Football. 2 years later, Johnny Football got drummed out of football. There's a reason for that. But you can ask Johnny Manziel all about it while he rings up your merchandise at Dick's Sporting Goods. By the way, I don't even know. Sorry, the allergies are a thing. I don't even know if Foster faced questions yesterday about his job status. The scribes have already made their minds up. I don't even think they want to ask. The LA Times runs a weekly recap of UCLA athletics. The headline, "Somebody must take accountability for this dreadful football." Dreadful. That's a word you don't hear men use a lot, but I digress. Don't be surprised if that drumbeat doesn't keep drumming for the rest of the year. There's a story circulating about whether LeBron James wrote an opinion piece in a Chinese newspaper, and I don't care. I just don't care. I took a peek at some of the quotes. It's not like he was saying, "Oh man, how I wish you guys would take over for America as the world's hegemon. Hey guys, we know COVID wasn't your fault, it was ours." He didn't say anything like that. He said a public relations thing about, "Hey, I've always been treated nice when I come here." Let it go. Angel City FC has acquired midfielder defender Neely Martin from Gotham FC in exchange for $85,000 in transfer funds. Okay, so be it. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Talk to me, for example. Do you believe that Kawhi Leonard, that a case is now enough for the NBA to administer punishment to Leonard, the Clippers, etc.? Or is it all just hearsay? For that matter, all that Dodger news, are you starting to feel a little bit more optimistic heading into the postseason? And if you enjoyed this update, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We talk LA sports every single day, even when I need meds. Thank you for watching. I'm James, and we'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Cortel Queso production. Take care.